welcome to the Ronnie Velveeta Show. Now don't adjust the dial. Don't adjust the color on your set. 'Tis I, your old friend, Curly Rodan. I've got a new suit.
Yes.
I've got a new suit. They looked at me and they said, "Get rid of that old polyester plaid outfit." So I did. I've got a new polyester plaid outfit right here, and I'm here to. It's the new Curly. It's the Millennium Curly, and I'm here to introduce a show. How can I describe this show? Humor. Humor is like a painting in your mind. And here's a guy who paints in your mind the humorous, my pal, your host, Mr. Ronnie Velveeta.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, you people at home. Please remain seated. We've got a great show in spite of what you've seen so far. Once again, Curly Rodan right there. A new outfit, but the same attitude. The man that does not belong on lower tier access cable television. He's that bad. He doesn't even belong on free TV, folks. Okay, we've got a lot of complaints in about the show. I know you people didn't do it, but those blue noses from Round Rock called in. No more naked girls on the show.
Oh, man.
What can I say? No, don't turn now. Don't turn now. No, tonight it's all about art. It's art show, folks.
Art.
Okay, I know you're thinking naked girls, that's art, but tonight is art. So we've got on the show tonight Mr. Jim Franklin on the show tonight, folks. Let's hear it for Jim Franklin. He's still alive. He is still alive, in spite of what you heard. He will be on the show tonight. So bring the kids around the TV if you want to scare them. Jim Franklin will be on the show tonight. So we'll be right back on the Ronnie Velveeta Show after this short commercial break.
Well, he said, this guy said he was going to.
Does he know the name Judge Judy?
I did too. W. Bush.
We can maybe get you up here. We get somebody else.
Okay, and welcome back to Fabulous Ronnie Velveeta Show. Once again, my co-host right there, Curly Rodan.
Curly for the new millennium.
He's got a new look. Look at his suit. Check that out. After all these years,
Nothing's too good for you people.
folks, look at that suit. That is...
Look, didn't even have to worry about getting these things hemmed up. You know, that's just got... Looks like those pinking shears just went right down. I found a new shop.
Where?
10 miles north of Waco, Texas.
Folks, if you need new clothing like this, 10 miles north of Waco, what's the name of it?
Style Station.
Style Station, north
Right near
of
the
Waco.
right near the 346 mileage marker there. It used to have a bunch of old like car kitsch and cowboy kitsch, but now they've the guy married a vintage clothes gal, never been worn. This is a custom made coat.
Never been worn.
In England, never been worn.
I believe
custom
that.
made, not a natural fiber in it.
Who would wear that?
I would.
I know.
For the new for the new millennium, for the people, for the new Curly.
For you people, our viewers.
I haven't brought up the new dance, have I? Do the Curly. Dun, 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 dun,
Okay, the
dun.
show's not about you. I don't know if you know that. It's the Ronnie Velveeta Show.
I'm modifying
You're the
my
co-host.
personality.
You're the guy, if I die, you take over.
I did that one time when you took the bullet.
Don't be trying to fix your image up or anything. You know what
It's
I mean?
all I really have. I don't really have a life other than
Okay.
you and the other 9 viewers that watch this show.
And one of you called in and complained about our last show, the Naked Ladies Show. That's what I want to talk about.
That's right.
You know, what's up with that? We try to bring, breast to the young 12-year-old boys out there at home watching TV. You know, your parents won't let you on the internet. They won't let you get into their porno because you know they have it. Go look in their room right now.
Under the mattress.
Yeah.
In the
Bottom
sock drawer.
The sock drawer,
Sock
kids.
drawer.
So we try to bring breast to the 12-year-old boys, but suddenly we get called down for bringing naked women on the show.
To me, it was art. I mean, when you think of Da Vinci, what do you think of? Tits. When you think of Michelangelo, what do you think of? Tits. It seems like it was just trying to for the new millennium. Art for the new millennium.
I'm thinking of tits all the time.
Well, actually, Michelangelo, there was more than, he was like, he...
But suddenly, we can't have him on the show. People complained. So we kind of changed the focus on the show. This is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Evidently, it was too much art. I think the licking of the other art might have had something to do with the...
You can show breasts, you just can't lick them. You know, which makes other people jealous. Because if I could lick my breast, I wouldn't be here now. I'd be home, wouldn't you?
This place was knee-deep in naughty sauce.
I wouldn't leave the house if I could lick my own breast. Okay, well, I think
that's one of the reasons I sort of got this new suit here. You know, the old suit, I got those splooge stains all over the suit, and, you know, from those gals. And I Scotch guarded this. I went ahead and Scotch guarded my outfit, my new outfit for you the people.
Here's what I don't like.
Viewers.
It's okay on this show to talk about conspiracy theories and shoot guns, but you can't show naked girls.
No.
What's up with that?
What's up with that?
That's not right.
What up, dog?
Okay. We're going to change the focus on our show. We're going to be right back after this short commercial break. That's not really commercial. It's, well, you'll see what it is. We'll be right back after this, folks.
Let's show some art.
Okay, art. We'll show some art.
Got that naked cars. Whoa, all right. Got that Charlie's Angels stance going on. You know the head cable now, Lane. All right, here we go. And look at the naked cars. And ready, aim, fire. Naked cars, Courtney. Got it in your sights? Okay. Ready. Right at that naked cars. Got it in your sights? Okay. Ready. Naked cars. Got it in your sights, Lisa? Okay. Ready.
Okay, we're back on the show. That was art. That was art. That was not naked women. They had shirts on, I promise you.
Yeah.
Okay, like I said...
Well, those girls did have their points, you must admit.
We're going to bring a guest on the show before he leaves. That's all I'm saying. Let's get him out here. Speaking of art, we got a very special guest on the show. We've been trying for years to find this guy. Some people thought he was dead, but no. He lives outside of town. He'll tell you about it on the show. Let's please welcome, if you would, please, Austin legend to the Velveeta show. Pretty much the man that started the entire show for us. Kind of our mentor.
Mentor.
Well, I would have to call him. Please welcome Mr. Jim Franklin.
Jim Franklin.
Is he still here? Is he here? Come on over. He is here.
Welcome aboard. Welcome to the Ronnie Velveeta show.
Welcome, Mr. Franklin. Have a seat and clip on right there your microphone.
Microphone.
And you're looking good.
Oh, thank you.
Well, thank you. You drove all the way in from, where do you live? Elgin?
Copeland.
Copeland, which is near Elgin.
Well, you go through Elgin if you need to.
Halfway between Elgin and Manor.
Halfway between Elgin and Taylor.
Taylor Manor.
Well, everyone gets they throw Williamson County into one pot.
It's all one big dumb.
Don't say pot in Williamson County.
It's not pot, that's for sure.
If you play that word backwards when you get the tape, you'll hear that I'm saying devil.
Devil?
Mm-hmm. That's what pot is backwards.
New Year's Evil.
Okay, Jim, the reason we ask you on this show is not because of your art talent. We know everyone knows you as an artist, right? That's what you're kind of known as in this town.
He invented art in Austin.
You invented art.
Well,
you drew an armadillo.
Well, I took the initiative in the creation of art. I never claimed that I invented.
Well, you didn't invent art. You invented perhaps a new art style. Before you were there, just bluebonnet paintings. That's all there was.
Salinas.
That was all there was.
Salinas
Bluebonnet
prints.
paintings and those kids with the big eyes. Those were popular. Then you showed up. Suddenly, whoo!
No more big eyes, armadillos.
No, it's a whole new thing. The kids go nuts. They're having light shows. They're having live music. It's the live music capital of the world. They're opening up the Armadillo. They're closing it down. They're building new buildings. And that's all because of you, pretty much, right?
Yeah. And I get a lot of money for it.
Do you?
Oh, yeah.
Is that where you live in Copeland?
Oh, yeah, in my palatial spread.
Bringing art to the hinterlands.
Well, trying to keep art away from the hinterlands, actually. I live just outside the zone of art. Art is only allowed within a 20-mile radius of Austin in the state of Texas.
I heard there was two artists in Copeland.
Well, the other one is...
sort of the dark side of art.
Well, let's see. I don't want to talk religion or politics.
There you go. I made that mistake over Christmas.
Why not? We can't show titties. What do we have left?
We can't count votes either, so...
Well, we want to introduce you, Franklin, as a performing artist. You're a performer, not just a visual artist. You cover all aspects. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, that's how I first encountered Mr. Franklin, was his performing artist. It was a kind of a, what's going on back there? Kind of a, think back, Love Street Light Circus Feel-Good Machine, Houston, Texas.
Yeah.
1969.
1969.
Ramon, the Four Daddy-O's. Mr. Franklin with the mannequin.
The original Pumpkin Stomp.
The original.
And the Pumpkin Stomp has evolved so much over the years.
Special class going on here behind the camera.
Teaching people how to run the cameras during the show.
Well, you're lucky. Sometimes we get the rowdy camera crew.
Instead of teaching girls how to dance, they have to teach someone how to operate a camera.
Because by the camera angles are weird. You can't, you know, look at this. We got it.
Professionalism.
Who's running the cameras here?
I'm not sure anybody's running the cameras, but
There.
we can thank Desi Arnaz for inventing the 3-camera shoot. It was.
We would, but we've done that before in our show. We've got Mr. Franklin here.
Yeah.
All right, let's go back a few years. 1927.
Let's
Love Street Light Circus. The first Pumpkin Stomp.
The first Pumpkin Stomp. And for
Well,
the kids out there, tell them what the Pumpkin Stomp
I
is.
gathered up some pumpkins on the way into Houston
Yes.
at a roadside vegetable stand.
Good
And
idea.
then we stopped at a grocery store and I bought 6 cans of tomato soup, Campbell's. And then I got some black
Andy
plastic,
Warhol.
laid it out on the stage. I went backstage and I told the band to play Rumble, but play it slow and mean. So I come back out very slowly with a black plastic bag over my head, and sticking down,
dangerous.
hanging down from the bag is a nude female mannequin, bald, armless, torso only,
Just armless.
and
It's armless fun.
sitting on the black plastic
Yeah.
is the
Just a mannequin, not a real
no,
woman.
Right, just a mannequin.
Just
Okay,
armless
this is
fun.
art.
We can't have it. It's art.
It's sculpture.
As long as it's a mannequin, it's art.
And the pumpkin, I had taken the preparation. I'd cut some slices in the top and took the stem out, and then filled it with the 6 cans of tomato soup.
6.
And then put the cap back on it so that it looked intact. You know, it was intact.
Right.
And that was resting on the black plastic. So then I come out from behind with the music going wrong, wrong, and this very slowly, and the mannequins hanging down from black. Everything's black as Halloween should be, and so it straddled the pumpkin with the mannequin hanging up, and then gradually in slow motion ease the mannequin's head down so that it's touching the pumpkin.
Yeah.
Then I pull it back, and then push it back down slowly again to where it's just touching the pumpkin, and then continue this until the music builds and it starts striking the pumpkin. It's striking the pumpkin, and then striking the pumpkin, and then the head penetrates the body of the pumpkin, and I scooped the whole thing up and placed it on the go-go stand that the dancers used to the side of the stage.
Oh, yeah.
I
And
remember
then
go-go stands.
placed it there and told the light man to please put a light on it. So it remained there for the rest of the evening. And strings of pumpkin seed are coming down from the shell. Looks like kind of like a football helmet Aggies wear, you know, orange. Strings coming down. So I took it back to the Vulcan Gas Company in Austin and put it in the front window on top of a toilet. And it remained there for months. The pumpkin shell dried up and got a nice tight fit onto the...
That's art, folks.
That was art.
Now, that was art. You know,
That's the original Pumpkin Stomp. That
You've heard about
started all
Gallagher.
of Halloween in Texas.
this is
There was no
pre-Gallagher.
Halloween really before.
No.
There was some.
That's how Halloween got started. You pretty much started Halloween.
There's BH and then there's, ADH.
It was.
That was 69.
69 though in the Vulcan Gas Company.
69. No,
No, that was
it was at Love Street in Houston.
But you brought it to the Vulcan Gas Company.
You know
after
Stacy Sutherland, who played lead guitar in 13th Floor
that. 13th
Elevators,
Floor Elevators.
was there that evening, and he told me later that he said, I went down to see your show with the Ramona Ramon on Halloween night, and I was going up the stairs. It was a big outdoor staircase to go to the door,
Third floor.
and a friend of mine came out, rushed out, and he says, take me home, take me home. I can't take it anymore. I took some LSD earlier, and this show is just weird. I just can't take it anymore. So Stacy had to take his friend home. It was so disturbed by my performance.
He never saw your show?
And then Stacy by the time he got back, the whole set was over, so he missed it.
Well, the Pumpkin
A very
Stomp
successful show, don't you think, when someone has
There you go. You freak people out.
running out, pleading to be taken away.
Perhaps like this show tonight, running out of a house. Change the channel.
Can't believe that this is a...
The Pumpkin Stomp was responsible for changing traffic patterns on 6th Street on Halloween.
That's true. This
Yes,
is very
the Pumpkin Stomp came back to the Armadillo for a number of years. Then you moved it to the Ritz Theater when you ran that. And you pretty much stopped all the trappic on 6th Street.
The culminating Pumpkin Stomp on 6th Street on Halloween was from the marquee of the Ritz Theater. We were dropping pumpkins down onto the street
No,
below.
throwing.
Throwing, whatever. It was the idea was to get a chant going with the crowd. Peter, pumpkin eater, had a wife and couldn't keep her. Kept her in a pumpkin shell there. He kept her very well. Now throw the pumpkin down, and it releases Pumpkin's wife, Peter's wife, from the pumpkin shell. It's a women's liberation gesture.
And there was no barricades.
However, on 6th Street at that particular night, the crowd started throwing the pieces of pumpkin back at us.
Halloween night.
They didn't understand the ritual. They came from a different religious upbringing.
Also, they were drunk as stumps.
Drunk as stumps, and then they were pelting us with these missiles. And finally, there were a whole box of Uranium Savage vinyl records right inside the office there, behind the marquee. And I said, "Give me some of those records." Because kids love records. You throw a record out to them. So we started tossing the records out, and they were keeping them instead of throwing them back at us.
Oh!
So that was we just changed the ammunition, and it saved our damn lives.
Well,
and then Iron Feather goes, he's got a wash pan with a military smoke grenade.
Just happened to have one with him.
Just happened to have one.
And he decides he's going to go ahead and detonate that, which he does. And then word gets out, the smoke drifted into the theater, and the 25 or 30 people who had paid to see the show on the stage
in the Ritz
immediately left because they thought the theater was on fire.
Well, somebody.
And then the word got to the fire
somebody
station
ran down the aisle
a block and a half away, and the fire engine couldn't get there because of the crowds of people. And it was fortunate for them that it was a smoke bomb in a wash tub. So the next year they had the walking pattern and no more of this chaos at the Ritz Theater.
That's why you walk around.
Pumpkin Stomp was stomped. That's squashed. The freedom to smash pumpkins was taken from us.
And that's why people walk around like sheep now on Halloween.
That's why that band called themselves Smashing Pumpkins.
Smashing Pumpkins.
It came from our smashing of the pumpkin starting in 1969, and I think they owe me a little bit of royalty for using that name.
Well, they broke up. Come on.
Well, you know why?
Yeah.
Yeah, 709 caught up with them.
Eddie Vedder thought he was better.
Finally.
You know how many votes were cast in this last election in Travis County? 170,995.
Last year's
recount.
That was
Big
last year's
709. It's in the middle of the number, and it's way beyond the reach of the margin of error.
And who won this
If
county?
there's a recount, 5 or 6
Who
votes.
won Travis County?
I think it was George Anheuser-Busch, the man born with a silver spoon in his nose.
The governor is,
Everybody,
Is that where we get the word Anheuser?
everybody voted him like and voted him like he's leaving the state now, So like
got rid of him, finally. So it took to get him out.
Yeah. It was the majority of this. 40% said they should stay. They were the Democrats. They wanted Bush to stay.
Yeah, I get that.
But,
Okay, well, let's move on.
We won't talk neither about religion or religion.
Where are we moving to?
No more politics. We got a tape you want to show of one of your performances now.
Each microphone gets a drink. You know, a ritual is nothing but the public display of sacred secrets. ritual unperformed is a ritual fading. I'm losing the secrets. I remember one secret from the great armadillo. Lupita, jalapena, maiden of jalapena, Lupita. She's hidden behind the speaker right now, but I wish to reveal the long-kept secret of Lupita. She's a little bit hot, but she's a very sweet. You may examine after the show on a closer scale to find out if I am bullshitting. But what I tell you about Lupita, I will not repeat. At the end of each major upper digit, we have, my friends, una mano con 5 fingers. Okay? Understood? Everyone is in tune with that element of this particular myth. Lupita, the maid of jalapena, on the can in the view, Armadillo Country Music Review. Lupita's left hand is a foot. This is so because I made it so. It hung like this for 8 years in the armadillo. No one noticed. Public display of a sacred secret. Don't ever tell you I didn't tell you.
My money down and buy my own plane ticket. So I flew over there, and I was staying with Gilbert Shelton. And he introduced me to a musician who invited us to see his show at a blues club. So we go there to the Utopia Blues Club, and in the third set, he invites me up to do this song, although he's never heard it. He never heard it. Never heard me perform at all.
But you speak English, though, I guess.
He's an American guy.
Okay.
And a good friend of Gilbert Shelton. Gilbert described the song to him, so he knew enough.
Expatriate.
So I go up, and the first thing I said to the band was, this might be in the key of A minor. And they laughed, and I turned around and started my Frank Sinatra song. And it went down really well. In fact, people were standing up applauding when it was over. In fact, a girl at the, almost got thrown out because she was not. They didn't allow dancing, and she started dancing during
in France.
In Paris, France.
Paris, France.
The next morning at breakfast. The next morning at breakfast, Gilbert brought the news to the breakfast table. Last night, Frank Sinatra died. And they did that within hours after I did my song. Within hours, and I'd been saying for 3 years, I've got to do this song in Paris before Sinatra dies, and I did it within 2 or 3 hours.
You the man. You.
That's why he's on the Ronnie Velveeta
And I'm not
show.
I speak only the truth.
I never heard that story.
The truth is weirder than fiction.
Oh. Do we have a tape of that performance?
No. That went out. That was one of those.
Went with Frank.
One of those that just the best never get recorded. You know that. We all know that.
Well, yeah, including this show.
Well, the rehearsal for this show was the one you should have caught.
I missed it. Sorry, it's too late. I was.
There's no money
Getting
on,
these
on
close
there's no
Scotch
budget
guarded.
for that much tape.
So, Mr. Franklin, perhaps you could give some advice to the kids watching the show, what they could do to get in the show business like you.
Well, you could look in the mirror quite a bit and try doing things while you're looking in the mirror. And move your lips while the records are playing. And that's what Joe Cocker used to do. He would
Andy Kaufman.
And a lot of them did that. Elvis did that, except he didn't really have any records to listen to. But they didn't have records back then, I don't think, did they?
His mother sang to him.
Oh, that's right. And then he lip-synced in the mirror. Or lip-sank. I don't know which is it. He lip-synced.
His big hand crank, Victoria.
Sank.
Yeah.
It happened.
Yeah, and his father would come home after he'd finished drinked.
Well, there was a performance artist. That Elvis.
Elvis.
So you're saying look in the mirror and sing along to the records.
Right, that's one way to get into show
That's how to
business.
get-
And another way is to buy tickets. And then hang around in the alley and try to get backstage passes. And try all these different angles. And one of them is liable to land you either inside or outside watching everyone else come in and go. The stars arrive in and out of one door or another in every theater in the world.
In one door and out the other.
You heard that, kids. You take his advice, perhaps you could end up on the Ronnie Velveeta show. It could be a dream for a lot of kids out there. Or maybe a punishment kind of a deal.
Start writing letters in, and I'll decide which one of you I'll trade places with.
There we are. You got an offer.
And if you're ever in Copeland, Texas, look him up. Where can they find you? That gas station there?
Just look for the arch.
No, I don't want any Republicans to know that I'm living in Williamson County.
Just drive around. They don't get this channel.
No.
Literally.
If they do, they don't like it.
Out there east of Michaeldelphia.
I think it's right outside the broadcast.
Rockets, Round Rock.
Is this cable?
Lower tier access.
Lower.
Oh.
The lowest is.
No cable?
It is cable, yeah. You can't just plug in your, you've got to have cable.
Okay.
You can just plug it in the wall and get it.
Like a cable modem.
Kind of like radio.
Yeah, it's not like radio.
With a picture.
It's better than radio.
A little better than radio.
Without the music. Okay, I think that's pretty much the end of the show.
I think that's it. We've covered everything.
I think it went pretty well. You always look
Considering.
better. Yeah, considering.
A lot better than last week's show.
The host and co-host. So, folks, once again, let's hear it for Mr. Franklin, Jim Franklin.